And it's a lot going on today. A lot going on. People have been saying that Kristi Noem probably ain't gonna be the head of the Department of Homeland Security anymore. And guess what? After those 2 days of those hearings, chat, man, we all know we watched it. We reacted to it. I did a short on what happened and those text messages from those ICE agents, man. Now, Mullen, really, only thing I really know about him is that he really comes from MMA. You know what I'm saying? That's how I know about the guy. Shout out to everybody in mixed martial arts. Shout out to everybody that's preparing for tournaments and fights. And shout out to everybody that's in the gym training mixed martial arts. That's where I know Mullen from. As being a MMA fighter and a big Trump supporter. I have to look it up, but let me know, chat. I don't recall him having any kind of like Department of Homeland Security experience. So I don't recall that. All I know is that the guy was a mixed martial arts fighter and a Trump supporter. That's what I know about him. So let me know, chat, if y'all know anything about that guy outside of mixed martial arts and that he was a senator out there in Oklahoma. So let me know what's going on with him. But Kristi Noem is out, chat. Those 2 days of how she basically performed those 2 days, basically out of there, Trump fired her today. Yeah. If you don't know, Trump fired Kristi Noem today. And the thing is, we was listening and Kristi Noem they were asking her about, I think it was a $200 million fraud, over there in Minnesota. And she basically said that Trump knew about it. That's what she said. She actually said Trump signed off on it, on that $200 million tax money that ended up like being a fraud, And Donald Trump say he ain't know nothing about none of that, man. So I think that was pretty much the nail in the coffin. I think he's not going to just turn his back on her, but I think he's going to just move her to another department, That's what I think he's going to do. But man, gas prices are surging, because of this Iran war. And guess what, guys? They're going to put boots on the ground, guys. We're going to have a war. Hey, what's up, Jennifer? We're going to have a war. Really, they're going to put boots on the ground. That's what I'm thinking. But America cannot afford for this war to last long, guys. Because guess what? The reason why the gas prices are going up right now is because they can't get the ships through some type of river or ocean that's over there on that side. It's a big holdup because of what's going on with the Iranian war and stuff like that. So that's why the gas prices, man, gas prices went up overnight automatically. You know what I mean? Guess what's going to happen? What's going to happen is that's how I dictate the price of like everything else is by fuel prices. Since I am a retired truck driver, and what we got to understand is transportation, and these truckers, they are the ones that bring the stuff from the shipyards to the warehouses to the stores. Transportation is fuel is very, very important. That's why I always dictate everything else by fuel prices. And guess what, chat? Those fuel prices surge like a good 5% overnight, chat. And guess what's going to happen? Those fuel prices are going to be tacked on to the suppliers and the distributors and all those in the warehouses. And it's going to make the prices of the stuff that's in the store go up. That's exactly what's going to happen. Hey, what's up, Rick? Vince Jackson, what? Shelby, hey, what's up, guys? Jennifer, oh my God, really? Yes. They fired Kristi Noem. It's a lot going on, chat. It's been a lot going on this morning. A lot. They got rid of Kristi Noem. Trump fired Kristi Noem. Y'all know we reacted to Kristi Noem testimony. And a lot of people didn't like how she was answering these questions. And then she said Trump knew about that $200 million or 200 million, or it might have been 200 billion misused funds out there in Minnesota. She said that Trump signed off on it. And Trump said he knew nothing about it. And I think that was the nail in the coffin when it came to Kristi Noem. You know what I'm saying? That was the nail in the coffin, chat. Hey, what's up, Rick? So now they got Mullen. Trump appointed Mullen into the Department of Homeland Security. It's a lot going on, chat. We got out there in Austin, shout out to the University of Texas, over there on 6th Street. 6th Street is like a mini, if you've never been to Austin, Texas, 6th Street is like a mini Bourbon Street. It's a high traffic area. Mostly college kids end up on 6th Street. Shout out to the University of Texas. I got my daughter is going to the University of Texas in Austin right now. And that school is probably about a mile or a mile and a half away from 6th Street, where that guy is at property of Allah. You know what I'm saying? That guy that did that terrorist attack in Austin at that restaurant/bar. That restaurant/bar. And guess what, Chad? They just fired Kristi Noem. And guess what? The enemy and all those guys know what's going on, because the Department of Homeland Security, they're the ones that are in charge of keeping us safe, knowing what's going on, trying to intercept these terrorist attacks. Man, America, bro, as of right now, America's on edge, Chad. It's on edge, you know? So what they have to worry about now, because all these people came into the country that we don't know, is sleeper cells and homegrown terrorists all over the country. All over the country. Right after Iran was attacked by Israel in America, that's the next day. That's when that terrorist attack happened in Austin, when the guy had on the shirt, property of Allah. I pretty much know. Y'all know about it right now. I haven't been talking about it that much. I haven't really been talking about that because I have my daughter goes to the University of Texas in Austin right now. And I know they watches my lives, you know, and I kind of try to keep it down until I get the scoop on how she's doing mentally, because 6th Street and where that terrorist attack happened at is right by the University of Texas campus. And a lot of, like I said, a lot of college kids, you know, go on 6th Street. So I haven't been talking about that. I know some people like, golly, Stock Sniper, you in Texas, your daughter go to University of Texas. Why haven't you been bringing up about what happened in Austin? That's why, because I was just making sure everything's straight before I bring it up. So I waited some days before I started talking about the incident that happened near the University of Texas, Hook'em Horns campus. You know, but 6th Street, guys, if you don't know anything about 6th Street, it's like a mini Bourbon Street. That's exactly what it is. But you know, Bourbon Street is mostly have a lot of tourists on Bourbon Street, but 6th Street, like, it's mostly like college kids that be there. So, bro, you on YouTube, wow, real men defending our country. Well, you know what, Kato? I'm too old to join the military, but guess what, Kato? My youngest daughter is in the military right now. My youngest daughter is in the Army. She is in basic training right now. I think she's in red phase. You know, they got different colors for different phases in the Army. She already passed the first phase. She's in the next phase right now. So I have a family member, which is my daughter, that is going to do what all of us should be doing, and that is serving the military. I'm too old, I'm too old, K-Do. I'm 50 years old. I can't join the military at 50, bro. But my daughter is there right now. If you don't believe me, all you gotta do is go look at my shorts. We went on my short. You'll see that my daughter, the day we went to a ceremony today, she had to go, I don't want to call it turn yourself in, but the day she had to go and enlist, you know, the day that she left, it's on my short. Just go check it out. It was like a little over 30 days ago. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bells because she's due to graduate April the 10th. My daughter is due to graduate April the 10th from basic training. So I have a kid. I have a kid that's serving the country right now as we speak. Kato. So yeah, just go look at the short. The day she went and turned herself in, matter of fact, I went live. I got a live about it too. When me and my wife was taking her to the recruiter, to the Army building, the recruiter. We was taking her there, and I went live. And she saluted the chat. The day that she went to go serve this great country. Go look at the live. She saluted the chat and went on the Army building. And guess what? Right now, you got me off topic, but you got me talking about her now. She is the cadence leader in her platoon. Yes, a lot of y'all might have seen her before or heard her before on my lives, but she's in the Army in basic training right now, and she is a cadence leader of her platoon right now. So yeah, man. But April the 10th is when she graduates. And then she's in the military, she's in the Army to be a nurse. Because if you don't know, all my daughters are nurses, every single one of them. I just got through talking about the one that's at the University of Texas right now. I got another one that's at the University of Texas right now for nursing. I got 2 more daughters that are already nurses right now. So yeah, but Kristi, noem, Chad, they got her out of there. So we're going to see what Mullen is going to do. Mullen is the senator out of Oklahoma. Shout out to Oklahoma. That's where my daughter is stationed at right now, in Oklahoma. She's at the Army base in Oklahoma, doing her basic training right now. And she got about a month to go. And then she'll be out of there. Well, she'll be out of there. They're going to let her come home probably for a couple of days. And then they're going to ship off to San Antonio. That's where they train the nurses at in the military in San Antonio. So that's where she'll be at until she complete nursing. And then wherever they're going to send her after that, that's what's going to happen. Yep. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for joining April the 10th. I will be going live too. It's going to be a long ride up there to Oklahoma. So I will be, they call it tapping. You got to tap them out. You know, that's what they call it. When they graduate, the parents got to come tap them out. So I will be going live. And yeah, if you on the live, bro, remember a long time ago, we said you invited me to come to Black Wall Street. If you on here, yeah. So yeah, my daughter's graduating from she's graduating from basic training, which is she's in Oklahoma. So our plans are to go up. We got to go up Oklahoma, and then go to we're gonna go visit Black Wall Street. Then we're gonna come back down, pick her up, and head on back. If everything goes right, and God say the same. So we will be going live for that. That's about another month and some days from now. So yeah, I appreciate y'all for joining me, chat. Appreciate y'all for joining me. I'm your host, the one and only Stock Sniper. And I run 3 miles a day. And then we walk another 1.25 miles. Or if I'm running my mouth, I might, walk longer than that. It just depends on what's going on. But this is the Walk Down, Season 3, Episode 194. And I appreciate y'all for joining me. What's going on, chat? It's a lot going on today, chat. It's a lot going on. All gas prices are surging because of the war in Iran. Right when we thought the gas was going to go down under $2, man, it is this administration. You never know what to expect from this administration. You never know. But I trust that I got faith in the commander-in-chief that everything's gonna be okay. I'm praying that the war don't last long, because it will be boots on the ground. I'm praying that the war don't last long and we can get back to doing what we're doing. But as long as if this war really, really escalates and it lasts 6 months, a year, man, I hope it don't. But we're gonna see these gas prices, in my opinion, continue to go back up. And with that being said, that means everything in the store is going to go back up as well. So hopefully this war can end quickly. Another thing is that Ayatollah, a lot of people, if you don't know who he is, that is was the leader of Iran. His name is Ali Ayatollah. Okay, so what they're trying to do, they're trying to put Ayatollah's son to lead the country, which Trump say, oh no. Trump said he's gonna pick who leads the country. That's what Trump said, chat. He's gonna pick who leads the country, because guess what? If Ayatollah's son ended up taking over for his father, it's just gonna be the same old thing. And they say he's 40 years old. See, that's another thing I wanna talk about, chat. I wanna talk about, I think, in my opinion, let me know what y'all think in the comment section, chat. I think that our president elections should be longer. It's like every 4 years or every 2 years. I think that we should expand how long a president stays in office, because, in my opinion, 4 years is not long enough. Especially in 2026. With how the world has grown. I don't know if they're able to change it, but they have to figure out a way, because 4 years is not long enough, chat. When you got all these other countries where their commander-in-chiefs, their presidents, their leaders, a lot of them are in there 20 and 30 years. And a lot of them, after they retire or whatever, if they pass it to their son, like with that Ayatollah's son, they're trying to make him the president, like the president of China. His grandfather was the president of China. His daddy was the president of China. Now the son is the president of China. In my opinion, I think America needs to expand the presidency. That's my opinion, chat. I think that 4 years is not long enough in 2026. It's not. Because by the time you get things together, it's time to vote again. The midterm elections shouldn't be 2 years. The presidency shouldn't be every 4 years. Time passes too fast for it to be every 4 years, chat. I'm thinking 15 years, 10 years. 4 years is not long enough. Just like that, especially with everything that's going on right now, we're going to look up, and this presidency is going to be over, and we're going to be voting again. And then that person that comes in might do a 360, and change things. 4 years is not long enough, chat. The son has been killed. Oh, I didn't know that. I know earlier this morning or yesterday, they were saying that his son was going to take over, and Trump said he ain't having that. So if they took care of him, well, then there it is. Trump did say he wasn't having it, so there it is. But in my opinion, 4 years is not long enough, chat. It's not, because let's say Trump get us out of all this mess. 4 years is not long enough. I mean, it's like you got to do a lot of things in a short amount of time. It's not long enough. This is like, for an example, If I take over a company, or I take over a restaurant, or I take over a car dealership, but the car dealership is bankrupt, right? Because this don't get it twisted, Chad. America is bankrupt, right? That's what they say, we are in debt. So that's just like a CEO, a new CEO taking over a company, and the company is bankrupt. Guess what, Chad? 4 years is not long enough for that CEO to get that bankrupt company in the green. It's not. It's a lot. Just think, when you're running a whole country and you're the leader of the world and you're trying to run the country and you're trying to run the world at the same time. 4 years is not long enough. It's not. It's not long enough, in my opinion. Because guess what? We're gonna look up and we're gonna be 2 years in on this presidency. It's already March. We're gonna look up. It's gonna be October and November, 2 years gone. And then it's too much work. It's too much work, Chad. Too much that we gotta come out of. And we already too divided. We're too divided. And I think that, my personal opinion, I think that if they expand the presidency years, I think that would force people to try to get along. Because every time you look up, they're going at each other to vote for votes, and it all it's doing is making us weaker and weaker. Because a divided household, a divided country, that's one of the number one rules of the art of war. Divide. Once you divide the household, once you divide the family, once you divide the state, once you divide the country, that's when you at your most vulnerable position. So that's my thoughts, Chad. Let's go into the comment section. Roadman, I never thought of the president longer, but you're right. Donald Trump, 9362. There will not be another supreme leader in Iran. Okay, the Don, hey, what's up, the Don? Shaggy, hey, what's up? Shaggy. Yeah, Roadman, I think time is going by so fast. And let's say this, like, Biden had one way of doing things. Next thing you know, here come Trump in with his own way of doing things. Well, then the next president in 2029 might do a 360 on everything. And then we got to start all over again. It's like starting all over. And you don't have enough time to dig, whatever the previous administration did, you don't have time enough to dig that, to get us out of the water. You just don't. People, these politicians are too divided. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it goes from Democrat to Republican and then go back to Democrat. 4 years later, they go back to Republican. They're too divided. That is an unstable foundation, like a house. It's an unstable foundation. And that's my thoughts. And that's how I've been looking at it. 4 years ain't long enough. It's not. Hey, what's up, ATM Tim? Appreciate you for joining. 4 years ain't long enough. It's not. 2 years ain't long enough. As far as midterm, it's not long enough. I'm thinking 15 years, 10 years. That's what I'm thinking, because all the other leaders, they time in office is an extended amount of time. You got even Israel, Netanyahu been the prime minister forever. Putin, he's been the president forever. And the president of China, you might as well say he's been the president forever, because his dad was the president and his grandpa was the president. So they got a system running, an all machine system. It's like a football team changing quarterbacks every 3-4 years. It messes up the system. You know, so I think they should extend it. You know, especially like I made that other example. If Burger King or one of these companies are bankrupt and they put in a new CEO, it's gonna take longer than 4 years to get that company back in the green. And that's, you know, and even though those McDonald's and Burger King and all those companies are huge, they small compared to America. And don't, you know, America is a system. America is a company. That's exactly what it is. It's an all machine system. And 4 years ain't long enough. You only give me 4 years to run this type of company. Nah, I mean, in my opinion, in 2020s, maybe in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, and the 50s, but the country is growing and it's too big for a president to only be in office for 4 years. But for a bad president is a good, imagine longer and the death. Well, how do you know I'm for a bad president? You don't know that. You don't know that, road man. You don't know that. I mean, but once somebody, let me tell you something, road man. Once the people vote, once the people say, well, hey, Trump need to be the president, or hey, Biden need the president, or hey, Obama need to be or whatever the case may be. If the people say Stock Sniper need to be the president, guess what? The people supposed to get behind that president, right? You're supposed to get behind that president because how the president goes is how the country goes. And then we do what? We wait, right? And then judge him after it's over with. That's how it's supposed to go. Get behind it, whatever the people say. Everybody voted for Donald Trump. So we got to get behind him. You know what I'm saying? We have to get behind the president. And then we judge him like on your job. When you go to work, right? You might not like your supervisor, but y'all are there to do a job, and you're going to be behind your supervisor, and then you're going to judge him after he gets fired or after he retires or whatever. Same thing, same case. When Biden was the president, I stood behind him because everybody voted for him. When Obama was the president, I stood behind him. That's how it works. We got to get behind whoever the people vote for. And then we judge their performance after they're out of office. That's why voting and paying attention to what's going on is very, very important. You know, you can't do this, chat. You can't do this. You can't be in your feelings. If you don't like Trump or you think he's gonna do a horrible job, bro, everybody voted for him. He's the president. And once the votes are in, right? Once the votes are in, I don't care if I voted for him or not. I don't care if I like him or not. But he's the president. And it benefits me and my family and my community and my state and my country if he does a good job. That's how it works. And if I'm in my feelings and I think he's not doing a good job, what do? Next time I vote, then I vote accordingly. And then I judge him. Not judge him, but then we analyze. It's called history. Then we go back and say, well, hey, he did this wrong, that wrong. He could have did this better or that better. But then 4 years, it's not long enough. Maybe if he had 10 years, if he had 15 years, he can have room to like grow. He can have room to do things a little different. 4 years is not long enough. He can have room to grow and develop and maybe change some things. 4 years ain't long enough in my opinion. And in my opinion, I think we need a younger president. Somebody that's 40, 50 years old, you know, like that. But electing older presidents like 80 years old, 70 years, I don't think that's really a good, that's not a good foundation in my opinion. I think that we should have presidents in their 50s, 45, 40, you know, and then extend the presidency from 4 years to about 10 or 15. That way, that president will be able to learn from his mistakes and adjust, you know what I'm saying, and do something better. And then after, you know, his term is over, then we the people, then we can critique his job and we can vote accordingly. That's what I think. Right, we're supposed to pray for our president and we want him to do the right thing, no matter if you are a Democrat or a Republican. Just because I talk about Trump all the time, let's get this understood. Just because I talk about Trump, just because I do speak highly of Trump, that does not mean I won't vote Democrat. That's what a lot of us got to understand. It's not about riding with Trump and just riding with him just because. It's about laws and policies. That's what it's about. It's about laws and policies. That's all that matters. And what's going to benefit your family, my family, the city, the state, and the country. That's what matters. When we start getting stuck on a certain person, where I'm going to vote for him no matter what, I'm going to ride with him no matter what, and you think because somebody talk about Trump that they roll with Trump or they're a Trump supporter. It don't work like that. And that's what we got to understand. You know, it's about laws and policies. It's not about the person himself. It's about what laws he could put in place, what policies he could put in place, and does it benefit the people? That's what it means. And guess what? If he does a bad job, that's why we vote. Then we can critique. We can critique and talk about his work on what he did, the rights and the wrongs. Like right now, a lot of people like Biden's performance in the presidency will be critiqued. It will be in the history books, and we'll be able to, you know, talk about it. We'll be able to say, well, he could have did this better, he could have did that better, you know, and then that also gives us a good indication of what we want out of a president, out of a leader. It's not about being red, it's not about being blue. It's about what the president and what your mayor, what your city council gonna do for you. And it rhymes, so it's true. Shout out to Scar in the Woods. But yeah, that's how it works, chat. Don't get mixed up on sides. Right. No, some people up there at the top, some of them want us divided. They want you to pick a side. You know what I'm saying? They want you to, that's how we get tricked, chat. That's how we get tricked. By riding with somebody just because, well, I did this for you, well, I did that for you. That means that you got to accept everything that I do. That it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? It's about laws and policies. That's all it's about. That's it. It's about laws and policies and we the people. If we can get everybody on board, right? Don't get in your feelings about a red or a blue. That's like a game, right? Don't be too quick to just join the red or join the blue. It's whoever is going to do what's right for we the people. See, another thing, Cat, is those people, they play on that. Oh yeah, I'm going in now. They play on the fact. They play on the fact that they got yes men for the Democrats, they got yes men for the Republicans. That's where they want us at. That's why they can't get along. That's why they keep going back and forth. And in my opinion, that is hold up. And in my opinion, that is a broken foundation. It really is, because guess what? Just like Donald Trump can't do no right, in the Democrats' eyes, whatever Donald Trump do, they're not going to say he did a good job. And guess what? It's also vice versa. Whatever the Democrats do, listen to the OG. It goes both ways. If Biden president, the Republicans are going to talk about everything that he do. If Trump the president, the Democrats are going to talk about everything that he do. It's just like that. Knowing that, hey, we got midterm elections coming up. We got midterm elections coming up. So, and then after that, boom, just like that, we got to vote again for another president. It's not long enough. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say they need to extend that, and then maybe all this division and all this rushing, you know, trying to rush, it will calm everybody down. And then we can be able to think and be able to bring some clarity. And the person that's in charge will have time to think and plot, plan, and strategize. Why, Stock Sniper? Because life is a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's so just think if you're the president and you only got 4 years in 2026. You only got 4 years in 2026 to put down what you want to put down. That's not long enough. In my opinion, that's not long enough. It's not. 2 years, midterm, that's not long enough. We vote for the president, and then right after the president is elected, the next conversation is midterm. I mean, it don't make any sense to me. It really don't. You know, in 1990, it did, but it's 2026. It's 2026, and we got a lot going on. You know, in all these countries that were super poor in the 90s, all of them own crypto. All of them own Bitcoin. You know, so those countries, those leaders of those countries are super wealthy. We got to understand that. Those countries are, and those guys that's leading those countries are super wealthy. And they have a system in place. You know, not every 4 years or every 2 years. That is old and is worn out, in my opinion. That's my opinion. It's old and it's worn out. That's my opinion. And also, we need to have a president that's 40 or 50 years old, that's young, that's strong, that's been on the ground, that know the struggle. That's the type of president we need, a young one. We don't need an 80-year-old president or a 75-year-old president. In my opinion, that's not. We need a young guy that's got snap, that's strong, that knows about the people on the bottom, that connects with we the people, and also know finance, also know about war. We need a good military guy. You know what I'm saying? That's 40 years old or 50 years old, that know finance, that know about war, that know about the struggle, and know about the come up. That's what we need. That's diverse in finance. That's diverse on investing. That's diverse on a whole lot of different things. But we're also a president that will shake your hand. That'll come to a park like this and come shake your hand. That's what we need. A president that will be around the people. A normal person. In my opinion, that's what we need. That's exactly what we need. And maybe one of these days, that's what it'll come to. Because I know, like J.D. Vance, a guy like J.D. Vance, like that, military guy, you know, that has strong ties and foundations to the people on the bottom and the people on the top. That's why I've been checking out J.D. Vance a whole lot, you know, but that's an example. A young guy that done been to the military, that understand war, that understands sacrifice. Why, Stock Sniper? Because he been in the trenches. That's why. He understand how to come from nothing to something, because he was on food stamps. He understand the struggle. So that's what we need. Not saying that it should be J.D. Vance, but I'm saying that we need a young guy that's been there and done that, on the low level, to the lowest level, to the highest level. That's gonna give us a strong foundation, and that also can be there 10 years, 15 years. That's what we need, and that's my opinion, chat. Let's get into the comment section. Don Case, this country has ever had, and we are proud of him. Oh, I guess you said Donald Trump is the best president we ever had. We have the best president. Don't get mixed up on sides. I'm a pro-life, but I voted for a Democrat. I voted for a better president than this. Yeah, but see but see, I could say, well, let the president, well, he's already older. So we need, going forward, I think we need a young guy. You know, these guys that are 80 years old, 75, I just don't think that, I think that Donald Trump, he got a lot of energy. You know, I hope that when I get 80, I'll be like some of these guys that's in there. You got Biden, you got who else? Trump, you got all these, Nancy Pelosi, all these older guys, or they're like 80 years old. But you know, they even though they're old, I mean, it takes a lot to do what they do. I just pray to God, when I'm 80, that I'll be able to move around like them. That's what I want to be able to do. When I turn 80, I want to be able to, because to be the president of the United States at 80 years old and go through all the stuff Donald Trump goes, not just Donald Trump, but Biden and all these older guys that are the president, you know, they have a lot of drive and a lot of energy. And I just pray to God that I have the health and the strength to be able to, you know, function on a high level when I'm that age. I know a lot of y'all guys are gonna say Sleepy Joe and all this, but Joe Biden, man, he been around a long time, you know, and whatever you want to say about him, you know, Joe Biden, as far as energy-wise, and as far as being older and be able to function at a high level, you know, it shows to what type of person that he is and how he took care of himself. You know, because most people are not able to do that at 70 or 80 years old. Even though they old, I look at it like, man, look at what they do. Nancy Pelosi is still trading at a high level. Nancy Pelosi is 80 years old. And a lot of these other guys, Chuck Schumer, you know what I'm saying? All these guys, they are old. Bernie Sanders, you know what I'm saying? And all these guys, those guys are old, you know, but they sharp and they on top of their game. As I switched the conversation to talking about health, you know, and it just made me think about it. Even though those guys are older, those guys are pretty sharp, you know, but we need some young guys in there. We need some 50-year-olds that have learned from some of these guys, but also know what it is to be like on the bottom, you know, and they know what it is to be like on the top. And they still have a heart to think about the people on the bottom. Not the type of person that once they, you know, some people, once they make it to the top, they act like they ain't never been on the bottom before, and they shit on the people on the bottom. No, not that type of person. A type of person that's high, that's on a high level, but still act like they on the bottom. That's what we need. That's very smart, very intelligent, that has fought in wars, that knows about economics, knows about building businesses. In other words, a businessman that has the knowledge of a Trump, but also been to war, also know what it is to struggle, also know what it is to go from nothing to something, and still have the mind to think about the people on the bottom. Yeah, that's the type of person we need, Chad. And then they need to extend the presidency longer than 4 years. That's not long enough. That's not long enough, Chad. They get bought out. We need someone who is for sale. Hey, what's up, damn media? Like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, I appreciate y'all for joining me. Yeah, today is one of them days, Chad. You know, I usually want to, after I run my 3 miles, I want to keep it at 1.25 miles. But then when I start talking, I start losing track of the time. And now look, I'm basically doing what I did yesterday, which is all good because it's working on my health. And that's why I appreciate y'all in the chat. I'm out here exercising, man. And I pray to God that all this pay off and I'm able to do this, like I was just talking about 5 minutes ago, that I'm able to be this sharp at 75, 80 years old. I got 30 years to go. I'm just 50. I got 30 years to go. So and you know, 40 and 50, you know, you at your peak. You ain't old at 40 unless you act, you know, a certain type of way. But if you on top of your game, a man should peak at 40 or 50 years old. A man should peak at 40 or 50 years old, guys. That's exactly how it is. If you 40 and you 50, you know what I'm saying? You take care of yourself. You do what you're supposed to do. You at your peak. You know, that's just how it is. Don't let nobody tell you old at 50 when you got an 80-year-old president. Don't let nobody tell you old at 40 or 50 when you got Nancy Pelosi. That's a high-level trader right now, a high-level day trader. And Nancy Pelosi, that's 80 years old. We could talk about a lot of different things like about that, but we like to try to keep it positive. She is old and she's still day trading on a high level. I don't care if she got inside information. I'm not worrying about all that. The point is that you're at 40 and 50 and even 60, you're not old. You're not. It's people that's 40 and 50 and 60 years old that move around like they 90. That's what I'm talking about. It's people that's 20 years old. It's people that's 30 years old that move like they're 100 years old because of the way they live their life. You know, it's about how you live your life. So, you know, it's a lot of older people that be on this channel. Don't let nobody tell you old at 50, you old at 60. Every time one of these youngsters tell me I'm old at 50, I'm ready for a challenge. I'm ready for a challenge. Okay, you say that? Well, let's challenge me in whatever you think you want to challenge me at. Y'all remember my cousin who I challenged? This was a couple of years ago. I challenged him. He wanted to challenge me, say, you old. I said, okay, if you old, a lot of y'all remember that. You say you old? Well, what you want. Challenge me at whatever you want to challenge me at. We can run. We can play basketball. We can box. I got gloves in the trunk. What do you want to do? Guess he chose basketball. And I say, well, let's go to 20. For a lot of y'all don't know this story. I say, well, let's go to 20. He didn't want to go to 20. He only wanted to go to 10, right? So by the time we did get to 10, he was tired and wore out. He was tired and wore out. And I embarrassed him, right? I beat him. He didn't want to go to 20. He only wanted to go to 10. I said, bro, back in the 90s, when we played pickup ball, we went to 20. This new stuff y'all doing, pickup ball, going to 5 points, going to 10 points. Bro, we played the 20. We ran basketball games all day long. We played football all day long. But see what he wanted to do, he wanted to go to 10, chat. He wanted to go to 10. Then after we played the 10, y'all know what he wanted to do next? Go get on his phone. He wanted to go get on his PlayStation. I said, no, you talked up on this. So let's do it. Prove it to me. And guess what, chat? I ain't heard from him since. And that's been almost 2 years ago. So all you older guys that's 40 and 50 years old, don't go for it. And if somebody do tell you that, and you know you haven't been working out, you know you ain't been out and active, it's time to get active. Because guess what? It don't take that long to turn it around. It don't. You know what I'm saying? It don't take long to change your life. It don't take long at all. All it takes is a making up in your mind, and then you come out and put the work in. That's all you gotta do. That's it. That's how it works. So we gotta remember that. Older guys, don't do it. Don't let nobody put in your mind that you old, because once you do that, it'll go into your mind, and then it'll go into your subconscious mind, and then you'll start thinking that, and then you'll start acting like that, and then your body will start reacting like that. So we gotta understand that. That's why with any young guy that calls me old, and it's always the ones that's never in shape, because the younger guys that are in shape, that's out and active and know what it is, they already know. They already know. But they be the ones that don't exercise, they smoke every day, they on the phone all day long, they at the club every single night. It's always those that want to call a 50-year-old or a 40-year-old old. It's not old. You at the peak, because once some people once you turn 18, you're still learning. Once you turn 20, you're still learning. Your body's still developing. You're still learning life. Once you turn 30, then you start, okay, you done made some mistakes. Now you're starting to figure things out. Once you turn 40, you ready to rock and roll. You probably done had a couple of kids. You got a 401k plan. You got a brokerage account. Maybe you done bought your first house. You know, you're trying to get together. Once you turn 45 and 50, you at the peak. If you live your life like that, you know everything. By the time you turn 40 and 50, you know everything. Well, you don't know everything, but you know the basics of life. You've learned a lot. So you are at your peak, especially if you've been taking care of your body and taking care of your mental health in a very mental way, and you also around the right people, because being around the right people also has a lot to do with it. How you was raised, who you look up to, your mentors, your teachers, has a lot to do with your development as a person. It has a lot to do on how, because just because somebody is 20 or 30, that doesn't mean they don't. Some people peak at 20 years old. Some people peak at 25 and 30 years old. We see it all the time. Somebody 25 years old, you know, and bummed out, lazy, don't want to work, on their mama's couch or on their grandmama's couch, and don't want to do anything in life. That right there means that you're 25 years old, and with the mindset that you're in, you're still acting like you're at the nursing home. It's kids that are 20 and 25 years old that are bummed out, that are cracked out, don't want to work, sitting on their mama's couch, sitting in their grandma's basement, and they are just as worse. That's just as bad. That's worse than somebody that's 90 or 100 years old in the nursing home. We got to understand that. You got to understand that. So it's about how you live your life, how you was raised, your foundation. It's about how you live your life, your foundation, who you look up to, and who you surround yourself with. We see it all the time. Dudes 40 and 50 years old, acting like they 18. We see it all the time. Physically, spiritually, and mentally, which is the worst of them all. Mentally, physically, and spiritually. We got to understand that. We got to understand that. 40 is not old. 50 is not old. 60 is not old. I got a 60-year-old friend that turned his life around when he turned 60. Turned his life around. And guess what? He can move, he can run, he can move around. He's sharp with his mind. You know what I'm saying? He got his mind together. That's another reason why he was able to do what he did when he turned 60. So some people, you know, depending on how you live your life and whatever God has for you, you might live to be 120. You never know. Some people don't live to be 20. Some people don't live to be 25. My best friend got killed at 24 years old. So you never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know. That's why it's very, very important to respect people. Respect your elders. You know, don't think that because somebody is 50, oh, they old. It don't work like that, man. It don't work like that. Unless they 50 years old and they on their mama's couch and they don't want to work and they act like they 15, now that's a sad. Now that's sad. If you 50 years old, if you 60 years old, or if you 40 years old and you act like you 15, now that's a sad situation. But the thing is, you can change. That's what it takes. And it don't take nothing but just the renewing of the mind. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And that's what we got to understand. And that's what's bad. If you're 50 years old and you act like you're 15, But then you think you got it all going on. That's bad. I know a lot of people like that that's over there on MLK right now. You can't tell them nothing. They my age, and they don't want to go to work. They on their mama's couch. All they wake up to do is drink a 40 and smoke a cigarette. That's all they look forward to. And go stand in front of that stove. That's all they look forward to. But then if you talk, the way they talk, you could think they got it going on. Crazy work. That's who y'all need. And youngsters, you can't look up to nobody like that. All you can pray for them. And don't look up to them. You got to pray for them. Because anybody can change. All it takes is a light bulb to go off. And for them to recognize, hey, I've been sitting on this crate on MLK since high school. Man, I got to do something different. And with the development of the internet and the development of AI, I seen a 60-year-old that came off MLK, off that crate, and realized that he'd been sitting on that crate for 40 years. And he had an aha moment, and he needed to change his life. And he changed his life, and guess what happened, chat? He headed in the right direction, and it took him 3 years. And I said, bro, as long as God wake you up every single day, and you keep on heading in this right direction, guess what? You're gonna be all right. And that's all it takes, guys. In 2026, all it takes is one decision, bro. That's it. One decision. You one decision away from changing your life. With this internet and everything that's going on, you one investment away from changing your life. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You one investment away from changing your life. And that's what it is. I've seen it too many a time. And that's what we gotta understand. We gotta understand that. And that's what we gotta understand. All we gotta do is change the way we think and have a plan and realize it's a marathon and it's not a sprint. And that's what we gotta understand. And don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. If somebody try to tell you what you can't do, or somebody try to down what you got going on and you know that it makes sense and you know that it's taking you to the next level, you gotta get from around them. You know, you gotta get from around them. You gotta unrecommend their channel if it's on YouTube or wherever it's at. You gotta get away from them. Because once they see that you progressing, they gonna swear to God you cheated. And them the type of people you gotta get away from. Take it from the OG. Those the type of people you gotta get away from. Because it's easy. It's easy to get sidetracked. It's very simple to get sidetracked. All it takes is one of these bozos to throw a monkey wrench on what you got going on, and you take the bait, and it can mess up whatever your whole thinking. And once they mess up your thinking and have you thinking about something that really don't matter, it take your mind off the prize on what you trying to do. And that's what we got to understand. That's what we got to understand. And that's what we got to understand. I've been on here for an hour. Okay, we right at 2.5 miles, chat. So I thank y'all for joining me. I think I'm gonna end it right here. I'm gonna go over here about a golf course. So I'm gonna stay online until I get over there. But y'all, appreciate y'all for joining me, chat. Everybody that's been subscribing to the channel, I love and I appreciate y'all. Once we get to 10K subs, we're changing the name of the channel. We're going to another direction. We're changing the name of the channel. We're doing the Cash App giveaways. And we're gonna start pulling people up. That's what we're gonna start doing. I'm gonna start pulling up 5, 6 people at a time. Not on the walk down, because I can't do it from my phone. It's gonna be when we at the desk. When we at my desk and we're looking at what's going on around the world and things like that, and we're looking at the stock market, we're gonna pull people up and let people talk. You know, not arguing, and not no debate, not no arguing, but real conversations that can help everybody grow. Because there's a lot of smart people that be in these comment sections, and I want to talk to you. You know, there's a lot of people that have helped me out in a lot of different ways, and I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. I want to hear your voice. You know, I want to have a regular conversation, you know, because I'm about growth and development. I'm about growth and development and learning. And then I'm about what have I learned and it works, I'm about telling it to everybody else. That's what this channel is about. And that's how we're gonna rock with it. We're gonna start pulling people up, 5, 6 people at a time. I've never pulled people up before, so it's gonna be a learning experience for me. You know, I use this streaming service and I got all the bells and whistles, but I haven't used all the bells and whistles because we was too busy trying to put out the content. Well, now, once we get over 10K subs, book it, it's a wrap. So 3 things are gonna happen. We changing the name of the channel. We're doing Cash App giveaways. And then we're pulling people up and we're gonna talk to you. Long as you have a nice, not no troll stuff, please troll. If you wanna troll, if you wanna troll, as they call it, or if you wanna cause problems, please don't come up. Just understand this, that there are older people on this channel. Okay, YouTube has already told me through the YouTube studio that the people that come to this channel are over 60 years old. Majority of people that come on here are older than me. So in other words, there's a lot of senior citizens that come on the channel. So we gotta be respectable because a lot of these guys that are 60, 65 years old, they know a lot. You know, they know a lot. They done been through some things. They have a lot of knowledge that they share with the channel. I've learned a lot from them. You know, a lot of them have gave me stock picks. A lot of them have gave me, they know I'm a vegan. They done gave me what to eat, food advice. They have also given me workout advice. They see me working out. They come in and they say, well, hey, Stock Sniper, do this. You know, do this. Do this exercise. You're not going down far enough. You're going too fast. You need to slow down on your reps. You know, a lot of them come and help me out. Come in and, you know, help me out a lot. And it has helped. You know, so a lot of y'all got to understand that. A lot of y'all got to understand that we have older people on here. We have veterans on here. You know, we have people that done fought in the military. You know what I'm saying? We have all kind of people from all walks of life. We have doctors and lawyers on here. We got to understand that. So when I start bringing people up, we're going to have some good conversations. And that's what we're going to do. And that's how we're going to rock with it. Okay, I've been walking for, it's a long one today, chat. But it's all good. Today is Thursday. A lot been going on, man. Kristi noem got fired. Trump fired Kristi noem. You got gas prices on the rise all over America after the gas prices went down to almost $2 a gallon. Now it's back to 2 cents. Where I'm at, it's back to $2.70. Like, golly, man. But hey, whatever the president say, we gotta back him up. We gotta pray for him, like somebody said in the chat. You gotta pray for him and make sure he's making the right decision. And ask God to lead him in the right direction. That's gonna make the right decisions for us. You know, that's what we gotta do, chat. We gotta come together and get behind this president, bro. And then what you do is you back them up. Afterwards, that's when you back them up. After it's all over with, then that's when you back them up. That's how, hey, what's up, man? That's what you do. You back them up. You back them up after that. That's how you gotta rock with it. You gotta back them up, and then after it's over with, then you critique. When the presidency is over and he's gone, then we analyze the do's and the don'ts. That's how we do it, chat. And that's what we gotta remember. So I'm almost around here. I'm right around here. Right around here by the golf. We used to play 21. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, till we used to play that 21. Yep. Back in the day. I ain't heard that in a long time, bro. They don't play 21 no more, ATM Tim. They don't play 21 and horse. None of that no more. I hardly even see them at the park. You barely see kids at the park anymore. Well, where I'm at anyway. I can ride to the park right now. Nobody's in the park. You might see one or two people. Well, it is Thursday. But Saturday, I can go to the park. Nobody's going to be there. Maybe one or two people. Especially at 5 or 6 o'clock. At 5 or 6 o'clock, we stayed in the park. We stayed in the park. So I done made it around here. This is right at 2.5. About 2 miles. About 2.75 miles. This is where we at. So I'm just gonna call it 2.5. That's what I'm gonna call it, chat. Just so relaxing, bro. Yeah, this is relaxing, man. Got the younger guys playing golf. This is relaxing. Playing golf. I mean, when I was younger, they couldn't get me to play no golf. Now, this is one of the most relaxing things ever. It really is, chat. Well, I think I'm ending right here, chat. I might go live again tonight. There's a lot going on. To the next one, chat.